Hi there, today is February 17th, and I am so fucking excited to welcome in the Fire Horse year. I find this really interesting because, like I said before, I've been doing this work for 19 years, and I still get really excited and really blown away when things magically happen. Even though, like I said, I've been doing this intuitive healing work for 19 years, it still blows me away. It really, really does. I've been talking about the planets and what's going on, and the moons and what's going on, and I've been watching the videos and reading what people are saying about it. And every time there's some like portal that opens up or flip or shift that I hear about, I'm kind of like, I don't know. Like, I really don't know if I believe in this. But like, what I feel is so incredibly powerful that I'm just getting to this place where I'm not doubting it anymore. Just like I spoke about yesterday, I don't doubt the presence that there is. Oh, sorry, I didn't say that properly. I don't doubt that there is a presence of a divine. We all call it something different. It doesn't matter what we call it, but what matters is that we connect with it every single day. And what I'm starting to see is that connection um, is also apparent, I guess is what I'd like to say. It's visible. No, not visible. It's like you can feel it. You can feel it as the planets shift, as the moon goes through its phases. Like, I didn't ever think that I would be the person sitting here talking about this. Um, but I have to say that leading up to this Fire Horse year, I have been feeling these shifts so deeply and so magically that I am just so excited about what is about to happen from today on. Because what feels, I did my meditation this morning, and the sense that I got, the words that I heard were burn it down and build it up. But it doesn't feel like it's this burning down and then building up. It feels like this Fire Horse year is all about burning and building at the exact same time. And, I get a lot of intuitive visions. I get downloads. I hear things. I see things. I sense things. I know things. And what I really want to start sharing is that it's time to create what we wish existed. And, you know, we have spent years breaking down those parts of us that were not based in love, joy, peace, and truth. And I'm going to continue to talk about this because to me, that is the embodiment of the divine. Call it what you will. Some call it God, some call it spirit. Like I said before, I basically call it something different all the time. It feels different to me. It appears different to me at different times of the day. So, what I'm also here to share is, we've spent so many years trying to understand it, learning about it. And I feel like now is the time to be open to it and to experience it, and then open ourselves more to the next version of it, to experience that. And I never actually know what's going to come through when I sit down to make these videos, but this is what's coming through, and so I'm going to continue to talk about it because it is really powerful. Like through my journey, I shared yesterday that I've had multiple cancers. I've had 19 rounds of chemo, 20 rounds of radiation, multiple surgeries, including a double mastectomy. Then as soon as I started to feel better, my mom died suddenly. I've gone through divorce, lost everything financially through being sick, just challenge after challenge after challenge. And what I've done well through these years is really, I feel like I have to give credit to the stubborn part of me who just always was so frustrated when a new challenge would show up and I was always like, are you fucking kidding me right now? Like, I remember when was it? It was like July 1st of 2018. I had just started this new relationship. I just started this new, like these new offerings for my business. I really wanted to help people heal their anxiety. It's like, it felt like life was starting for me. I had been divorced, I was feeling more human, more centered, more grounded as a parent. And like, I don't know what day it was, but I found a lump under my arm and I was like, what the fuck? Like, it was huge. Like, it was the size of like a tennis ball. So, what had actually happened, the reason why I hadn't felt it for so long is because I always took a bath. Every day I would meditate for at least an hour in the tub. So I would wash in the tub, which meant I wasn't like lifting my arms over my head washing. I was just washing under my arms with my arms down, which sounds weird that we're talking about this, but there's a there's a point to this because then that particular day I had a shower, which meant I actually did lift my arms to wash. And that's when I found the lump, and it was so huge. Like I said, it was the size of a tennis ball. And I was like, what the fuck is this? And so I went to the doctor and I had a CT scan done. I think it was a CT scan. I had a scan done. And the doctor, they lost the scan. So my doctor never got it. So when I called the doctor's office and said, "Hey, I haven't heard anything. What's going on?" The lady said, "Well, if you haven't heard anything, it's fine. Like, no news is good news." And I was like, "Okay, that sounds good to me." And then I kind of sat with it, but intuitively, I kept getting this voice to find out what this lump was. Like, okay, so they didn't think that it was cancer, obviously, but what was it? And so I just followed those intuitive hits and I called back. I don't know how long after it was. And I said, "Hey, like, I didn't get any call from the doctor, so obviously it's not bad news, but like I still want to find out what this lump is. Like, do I have to get it removed? It's so big, like something's not right." And when I went to the doctor, he like opened his laptop and opened my file. And as soon as he saw it, I could tell he just like his face just changed and the news was bad. But what happened was he didn't get the scan. I don't know how these things get lost, but it was lost and he never did receive it. That's why I never got the call. And as soon as he saw it, he rushed me into surgery. Like, I actually brought my kids to the doctor's office thinking this is just going to be a routine check. Let's get this done, go home and have a fun day. And that's not what happened. So I got rushed to the hospital to go into surgery. And so I had to get my ex-husband to come and get my kids. And luckily enough, the man that I was dating waited most of the day with me. And, so here we go. I was rushed into surgery, found out that it was, what was it? Stage 1, I think, lymphoma. So I had to get the lump removed, but there was also another tumor behind it that they couldn't reach. So I needed 3 rounds of chemo and radiation. And my body did not like the chemo and it fought the chemo. And I almost died multiple times on that journey. So I honestly don't know why I started this little talk about my cancer journey, but I guess what I wanted to share was that, my life was, it felt like it was just beginning. And, you know, right after I got diagnosed with the cancer, the person that I had been dating that I thought was the love of my life, um, broke up with me. So it was kind of the beginning of this difficult season in my life. So, um, what I'm here to share, I don't know. There was a reason that I started to talk about that, and I can't remember what it was now. But anyway, what I'm here to share is that there is something so beautiful. Oh, okay. I know why I started to talk about that, because what always happened when I was diagnosed with cancer was this stubborn part of me thinking, are you fucking kidding me right now? Like at the time, what I was saying was, I'm dating this great guy. I had, I had thought he was a great man for like 20 some, 30 some years. Um, I'm starting this new part of my business. I'm feeling good again after my divorce. I feel grounded and centered as a parent. And now at the beginning of summer, because I'm a big summer fan, I mean, who isn't? Now I'm being diagnosed with cancer and I have to go through chemo. And then this motherfucker breaks up with me. Are you fucking kidding me right now? That was probably the lowest I've ever been in my life mentally. I would say that that is the closest I've ever been to taking my own life. Because not only did I have to go through this, my sister had, what was hers? Hers was Hodgkin's lymphoma, like about 25 years before that. So I watched that girl go through hell. And I did not want any part of that hell, but now I was going through it. And so I was really, really afraid. And, then this person that I thought I was falling in love with breaks up with me. Well, what the fuck now? Like, what the fuck am I supposed to do now? All alone with these two kids to look after. Um, I just didn't know I didn't know how I was going to do it. I didn't think that I could do it. And the part that was really hard for me was that I had been working as an intuitive healer in this incredible system for years, since 2007. This was 2018. I had been the person who worked with people who had stage 4 cancer that miraculously healed, people that needed heart surgery that miraculously healed during the sessions that I did. And here I was getting sessions from the founder of the system, who I had become friends with, getting sessions from other practitioners, that were in the system. And I did not get my miracle of healing. And that was frustrating for me, because why the fuck did everyone else get their miracles and I didn't? Why do I have to go through the very thing that I never wanted to go through? I never wanted to ever get chemo in my lifetime. That was like it just seemed like the worst thing that anyone could ever do. So I had to go through it. And what this story is, the root of the story is because I'm so fucking stubborn and so driven all the time to see things happen the way I want them to. I couldn't heal the cancer, neither could anybody else that I knew. But I sure as fuck knew that I could control what I did with my day and how I felt through the day. And so I was very open and very honest about how angry I was and scared I was. But as I would speak those things out, it's like the anger and the frustration would leave and the love would fill my mind and my heart. And I didn't want to ever go a day without feeling peace and love and joy. And so I made that my commitment is okay, I will be going through a version of hell, but I'm not going to let it steal my fucking joy or my peace. And so every single day I spent time getting into my heart, feeling the emotions, noticing the thoughts. I would say at the time that I didn't actually recognize that I was noticing my thoughts, but I was really, really, really feeling my emotions. And so that set up this lifetime commitment for me that no matter what happens in my life ever, I am going to find love and I'm going to feel peace and joy no matter what I have to do. So that was a long way of telling you that I am here to share with the world how to find love and joy and peace and truth no matter what. And to me, through the years, what that has become is this merging with the divine. Like I said, it doesn't matter what you call it, but what matters is that you connect with it. Well, what I continue to feel as I connect with this is that this is the embodiment of God. This is what we are taught when they talk about heaven, when they talk about nirvana. It is found in this moment, in the space between your thoughts, where love lives and truth speaks. You know, at some point I'll talk about my other cancer journey that was like way worse than this one, where I heard the voice in my mind to go to the doctor and get my breast checked out. And that's where my tumor was found. So I continue to listen to my intuition on my journey as well, to, know who to connect with, who to talk to. It didn't necessarily give me the results that I wanted. Like I didn't get the healing that I wanted, but I did, through the journey, I was actually told that my body was fighting the chemo so much, my liver enzymes had become so elevated that I couldn't get any more chemo. Well, that means you're going to die, because if you have the cancer and they can't kill it with the chemo, you're not going to make it, is usually what that means according to Western medicine. And like I said, the system that I was in did not heal me of the cancer like I had seen the healing happen for my clients. But at the time, actually at the beginning of 2018, I started going to church and really allowing the feeling of healing. Like it's like I needed to forgive myself for leaving my marriage. I needed to heal those wounded parts of me that were beating myself up for so many years for so many things. Obviously, if we get into a bad marriage, it's because we don't believe that we deserve to be in a good one. So there was a lot of healing that happened while I was going to church. And when I got this phone call, I got very afraid. So I called my friends at church, and, the pastors got together, some of the parishioners got together, and they prayed over me. And it was such a magical healing experience. It was so emotional and so beautiful that these people cared enough about me to pray over me. And the next day I went for my blood test, and when the results came back, my enzymes were back at normal, which meant that I could continue with the chemo, and it did save my life. So this is all like, my whole journey is just very interesting. I could sit and talk for hours and hours and hours about, the things that didn't happen the way I wanted them to happen all the time, but I did get my magical healing in a different way. And then interestingly enough, I started to, really dive into the Bible and do some Bible study. And I wanted to learn everything that I could about this version of God and this version of Jesus. And then I started to hear things that I didn't believe were true. And I ended up leaving the church at the end of 2018. Like, interestingly enough, I rang the bell at the counselor clinic on December 14th. And that day I also called my friend at the church and said, you know what, I'm not coming back. I just don't like some of the things that I'm hearing. And so I set out to find what God was to me. And I guess I'll just continue on with the story because there's so much here, and it's just such a beautiful unfoldment through one of the hardest times of my life. Like I said, then I had a way worse cancer journey. But at that time, I once again felt very suicidal, because what happens when you're healed is you no longer have the doctors and nurses looking after you. Everybody goes back to normal. Interestingly enough, when you're going through a really difficult challenge, you feel like everybody's going to stop what they're doing and be by your side. And that's not usually what happens, because people have their own lives to live. And a lot of people in our lives don't know what to do with our pain and with our challenges. So I felt very alone. My mom was just such a wonderful person, but my grandma actually fell and broke her arm, broke her leg, and she almost died actually. So my mom became my grandma's caregiver, which meant the person that was taking care of me was no longer available. So this is where I started to feel just very alone again. And then I leave the church and it's like, what the fuck now? So I really slid down into a deep, deep, dark depression. And I didn't think that I could save myself from taking my own life. And I actually packed my bag and I was going to go to a mental institution. I didn't know if we even had one. I didn't know what that meant, but I was going to go to the hospital and say, I don't think that I can stop myself from taking my own life, and check into whatever program that they offered. And I just remember sitting on the couch crying deeper than I've ever cried in my life, feeling like the biggest failure on the planet, because here I have these beautiful kids and all I want to do is take my own life. Here I survived a really difficult fucking journey and I can't even be happy and grateful. All I wanted to do was die. And I just remember sitting there feeling so defeated, and the voices in my head were so cruel. I actually wrote a book and it's called On Earth as It Is in Heaven. It's the first book I ever self-published. And I talk in depth about the voices that I was hearing and how they were tempting me to take my own life, telling me that my kids were better off without me, that I was no good, I was a failure, I was a piece of shit. I was just all of these horrible things. And as I was bawling my eyes out, there was this tiny, tiny voice that showed up and it said, there's another way. And as soon as I heard that voice, I knew what it meant. I knew that it meant it's time to do your fucking work. I had been dabbling with a lot of addictions. I don't know if that's the proper word, but as soon as I left my marriage, I started smoking and drinking. I thought dating was I was addicted to dating. I was addicted to getting people's attention, men's attention. I just became addicted to many things that were very harmful for me and my children. And, when I was diagnosed with cancer the first time, I knew as soon as he told me that it was lymphoma, I just knew that God was telling me, I'm not pissing around here anymore. It's time. It's time for you to change your ways. It's time for you to grow up. It's time for you to stop torturing yourself through these addictions. And so that cancer journey definitely helped me heal a lot of that. But at the end of it, it was like, okay, now it's time to really do the work. And so I committed every day. First thing in the morning, I got in the tub and I, meditated for at least an hour, really feeling my emotions, really noticing my thoughts. I listened to the Conversations with God series, and that was like one of the most incredible things I had ever heard. Because, like I said, I had gone to church and found this relationship with God, but then started to hear things that I didn't believe were true, how we get punished and hell and all of these things that I don't believe are true. But the Conversations with God series really tuned me into what I felt was truth about the divine. And I started journaling every day. I started going outside every single day. I actually, just backing up a bit, when I heard the voice saying, there's another way, I actually drove myself instead of driving to the mental clinic or whatever. I didn't even know what it was. Instead of doing that, I actually drove to another city and stayed in my favorite hotel and did my fucking work. It was like -50 at the time, one of the coldest times we've ever had in Saskatchewan. But I went outside every day and I walked on that riverbank and I cried, and I would eventually feel this presence in my heart of love. And I would feel gratitude for everything I went through. I took myself out for dinner, on New Year's Eve. I had a wonderful dinner by myself. And I just really, I would say that that's probably when I really started to tune into this version of what I believe God to be, which is love and joy and peace and truth. So, um, I'm just going to keep talking about this every day because I believe that we all are craving that connection right now. And we're very, I feel like the world is collectively going through a time where we're really fucking sick and tired of the bullshit. We're tired of the corruption that we see everywhere. We're tired of the like I said, we're just tired of the bullshit. And so it's time to pull away from it and stop focusing on it, number one. But now it's time to create what we wish existed, which is a world built on love and joy and peace and truth. You can call it God if you want, but what we're here to do is align with spirit, align with, like I said, love and joy and peace and truth. Not what we're hearing, not what we're seeing, but what truly is. And we find that in the moment between our thoughts. The space between your thoughts is where love lives. The space between your thoughts is where truth speaks. The space between your thoughts is where peace flows. And the space between your thoughts is where joy dances. And I am here to talk about this every day. And I am here to lead you to those spaces so you never forget how it feels to be aligned with what that is. And this is what a lot of people call heaven. It's not a place we go. Maybe it is. Maybe there is a place we go that is heaven, but that's not what we've been. That's not why. That to me, that's not the purpose of everything that was written and spoken. The purpose was for us to find it here on earth. This is what I've been experiencing. This is what I'm here to help you experience. Heaven, nirvana, the moment, joy, peace, love, and truth, whatever you want to call it, spirit, This is what I'm here to help you find every single day. And this is why I believe I went through all of the challenges that I did, because I was stubborn enough to commit to finding this no matter what happened. Through a very much worse cancer journey, through my mom dying, through challenges that I had as a parent in my life, financially, the challenges that I've gone through, I have never had a day where I didn't look back with gratitude on everything that happened. It takes me a while sometimes. I've had to process a lot of fucking anger, a lot of frustration, a lot of, banging sticks on trees and writing fucking books and making videos and talking to some really great friends openly and honestly about how fucked up the world can be, parts of the world, how fucked up life can be. And I've gotten through it every single time. And that is why I believe I went through those challenges, so that I can be here saying it's not always easy, but we can always find heaven through the hell. I believe that that is why these books have been written, to tell us that. I believe when they're talking about the coming of Christ, that that is literally what we're experiencing right now. But it's not, Christ coming back to earth. It's us finding it in our hearts. I believe that that was the purpose of everything. Jesus did not come down to become a savior. He was here to show us how to love. He was here to show us how to find the moment. He was here to show us what peace and joy and love and truth meant. A lot of people just really misinterpreted it, and that's okay. I'm not here to judge anybody. What I'm here to do is open people's eyes so that you can see more and more of the truth. And, the truth will set us free, like they say in the Bible, but the truth also hurts. It hurts at first. But if we continue to sit with that pain and feel it, and knowing that there's always peace on the other side of it, suddenly life becomes magical and meaningful. So with that, I'm actually going to do a session. I'm going to do these sessions every day. And what I actually created is the Spirit Speaks deck. So there are 5 decks in the one deck. And the purpose of the deck is to help us see the patterns that are getting in our way, and to really get this message from Spirit. Like I said, I've been an intuitive healer for 19 years. I do get intuitive downloads. I hear them, I see them, I feel them. But I still like to have the easy way out. And for me to sit down and get this message through this deck that I have, it's a fun way to get a quick message from Spirit. It's a fun way to be able to see, like, oh, I do need to slow down. The last times that I was making these videos, every time I sat down to make a video, a card showed up that said slow down. And that was my message, that was what I was meant to do, was to slow down. So I'm actually going to do a separate video, and I'm going to do the session in that video. And yeah, I'm just here to share my story and share what I found with you, so that you can start to create what you wish existed in your life. And it starts with how we're feeling, and everything is going to match that feeling. So once again, welcome to the other side of fuckery. We are now in this fire horse year, and I'm so excited to see what happens for all of us. Thank you. I will talk to you tomorrow.